And particularly, guys are are habitual ignorers of red flags, and women are as well. But I kind of want to focus on the guys because I think you could probably attest to this that in you're working with young men that they tend to just jump right into things without necessarily looking at the whole picture or trying to look down the road, especially
Yes,
the younger men.
yes. Younger men, especially today, because the accessibility, it's a problem with accessibility to women. So you have when you have it too loosely, men of equality don't want the too loosely women. But when accessibility is too hard, they don't get women. So it's that middle ground where you have a woman who is easygoing, she's listening, and you could have a conversation that doesn't entail all the other stuff. Like I ain't going to Cheesecake Factory. We don't have too many women in that area now. They either far end of one spectrum, easy, far end of the other spectrum, hard. So when a lot of these guys get out there and there is woman, they tend to overlook that red flag because I'm saying they're that loneliness, and they just trying to say, I just want somebody. We're living in the age that I just want somebody, and I'll take whatever's that's accessible to me.
Okay, yeah, and I know exactly where you're going with that. So what I did was, sorry, I found that quite interesting. And so what I did was I went on to ChatGPT
Mm-hmm.
and I asked ChatGPT. I used the deep research function on there to
Yeah.
ask it to identify some of the top areas of red flags that men ignore. And it gave me some of the reasons why. And so I want to take you through some of those, right? Because some of them are kind of whatever. But so one of the first one on the list is inconsistent effort, i.e., being the woman being hot and cold. And they said what it looks like is fast intimacy, slow follow up, cancels last minute, big words, thin actions.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And so when I think about my own dating experience, some of the areas that I experienced when it came to red flags that I ignored because I was one of those habitual ignorers of red flags. And a lot of my reasons were the reasons that you gave was slow follow up, cancels last minute. And when I tell you cancels last minute, meaning that I've driven across town,
Yeah.
I am sitting in the parking lot waiting for her to come downstairs. I've been
Oh,
there for 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden I get a phone call or I get the text of, hey, can we go next? Can we go another day? And I'm hot. Bro, when I tell you I'm hot, it's like if if I see this woman in front of me, I'm cursing her out like I'm hot. But I see that there's a lot of dudes who are experiencing this. And
yes.
so if you had a dude that was sitting in front of you right now who had experienced this is experiencing these type of situations, what would be some advice that you would tell them?
Man, I'm kind of the wrong person for that because I didn't experience it too. Damn, but
But no,
nah,
that actually makes you the right person because you've
true.
experienced it. So
Yeah.
how would you deal with it? And then
Um,
I'll tell you how I would advise somebody to deal with it.
all right. My first thing is if it's habitually happened, yeah, you got to respect yourself, young man. You just got to move on. This because what that means is she doesn't value your time. When a person, male or female, do not value your time, they do not value you because I don't care what nobody says. The most valuable thing, it is your time. And if you don't have enough gumption to pick up the phone, hey, before I get there, hey, and be honest about it. With men, you can be honest about it. And you have to be honest with men. Because if you're not honest with men, and women tend to know this, and that's why they don't be honest with men, because it's the lead on factor. I can string them along. I can get these extra dates. I can get this time that I want to spend with it if I don't. But unlike women, we like to be told it's straight up. That's how our relationship with the boys are. Hey, you fat, you this, you that. We tell it straight to each other. So
Mhm.
we're okay with straight up. But if she can't pick up a phone and says, "Hey, I'm having reservation," or "I have this, I got to something picked up," and she's allows you on a habitual time. And what I mean by habitual, more than twice.
Mhm.
One time, it's a possibility of something might happen. Second time, we can live. But if it happens more than the third time, you just don't even pay attention. Now, the caveat is if you know that woman, if you understand that is a good woman and things just continuously happens, but you know that that's a good woman and things are just popping up, okay, you stick around a little bit longer. But if it's just somebody you dealing with and you know what I'm saying, she done told you, yeah, we're gonna go, then I'm gonna check up her. Hey, we still down? If I don't get no response, I don't go. And you can put it on me. Hey, well, you didn't show up. Hey, I checked in with you 2 hours before. I checked in an hour before. You didn't reply. So I'm not wasting my gas. I'm frugal. But young me, I've definitely done that for a couple women, you know what I'm saying? Because I was enamored by the beauty. And
Mhm.
and I was just trying to hold on to it because I was like Cedric the Entertainer. I was wishing that this work out because whoo, I got a bad one on my arm. Boy, the boys gonna be mad when they see me with her. Oh. And
So I forgot where I was at, but I was somewhere and I had a date set up with this cutie. I drove across town, was on time, waiting for her in the parking lot. 10 minutes, 20 minutes go by, 30 minutes go by.
Dang.
And I'm texting, I'm like, yo, where you at? Blah, blah, blah. About the 20-minute mark, she was like, I'm in the shower. I said, all right, cool. 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Dude, I waited an hour. I was hot. I was pissed. She eventually came out. She didn't see nothing wrong, but I didn't even enjoy the dinner date because I was upset. We never went out again after that because the reason why what I found out was that the reason why she actually didn't want to go. But I was pressing so hard that it was kind of like, yo, this dude ain't gonna leave. So if I was if I was going to advise somebody who's dealing with this, I would tell them first off, look at the situation, right?
Yeah,
Is she canceling 5 minutes before, 10 minutes before, 15 minutes before? Okay, that's a whole different scenario of like, hey, you letting me know 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours in advance that, hey, can we reschedule? Right?
yeah,
Because that is more likely for me to believe that something came up and you just need to reschedule. But also with the rescheduling, are you giving me a date? Are you giving me a
yeah,
time? You know, um, are you like, hey, I can't do it today. Something came up. Can we go on Friday? Versus, 15 minutes before, and you're like, I can't do it today. Like you didn't know. All right. So those type of situations, the 4 hours before, you can that's easy reschedule. So 15 minutes before, I would, a little light would be going off in the back, like, I gotta be concerned right now. If you show up and they cancel, don't just go ahead and chalk that one up as a loss, right? Don't be
Uh,
me. Don't be
don't
how I was, and just sit there because she's a baddie.
and I got one. Mine's is worse. You know what I'm saying? And
Worse.
it's all
Wait, hold on. It's worse than that. Oh
yeah.
God,
Uh, and it's always the little short ones, just the little short
bro.
feisty ones. You know what I'm saying? And had me a little short feisty one. You know what I'm saying? A little long hair. I was Jesse. I played the fool for her. And she would always now we would get together and hang out and spend, you know what I'm saying, beautiful time together when it was together. You know what I'm saying? I was just so solely infatuated and enamored with it. It was just crazy. But on hell of a occasions, you know what I'm saying, it'll just we're planning to see each other, be with each other, and I'm so happy, and I show up what I'm doing, and because I'm not trying to play the stalker type, so I'm not trying to blow the phone up. So I show up, nothing, man. At one time, you know what I'm saying, we were supposed to meet, you know what I'm saying, at the gym to go work out, and you know what I'm saying, I was running a little late, and I told her, so she had something else to do, and so she said she was coming back. So I was like, all right, are you coming back? She said, yeah. So I get to the gym, I'm waiting in the parking lot, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, an hour 10, hour 15. I sent a text message, hey, in 10 minutes, I'm just gonna leave. 10 minutes came and passed, still didn't leave. An hour and 30 minutes, I fell asleep in my car, woke up, texted, hey, are you still coming? And then I realized, man, she ain't coming. She ain't coming. Drove home, still texting, ain't replied to a text message, ain't nothing. And the killing part about it, woke up the next day, hey, what you doing? Didn't acknowledge, and I was a sucker, and I just felt folded like butter again, and just like, okay, I'm not even worried about it.
Oh
So
wait, did she hit you with the I was asleep?
no, didn't even address none of my text messages I sent her.
Oh, wow, wow.
But that's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It's the beauty of it was the beauty of this woman that just had me like that, you know. And it's just like you try to fight that as a guy, you be trying to fight that because you could tell you be wanting to see the longevity. And it's it's 55% the beauty of the woman. But talk yourself into saying, and because during that time that y'all do get to spend with each other, and you're sitting there, you're talking, she showed you the signs of, hey, this is not only a beautiful person on the outside, but it's a beautiful person on the inside, and you don't want to lose that time investment that you have into it because you're there, you're listening to it, you're not being egotistical, you're not trying to press her for adult activities. You're being that person that she can talk to. You showing up whenever she calls you to show up, and so you just like, I got this time invested, and I don't want
Oh,
to
so
lose that.
you was a friend zoner.
I thank you. I just realized I was. Thank you. I didn't know I was a friend zone,
Been there.
but I can't say I was a friend zone because
Oh, okay. So you was a friend zoner with benefits.
we're not gonna put it like that because she watches some of the videos too, and I told she gonna one day make the video of me talking about it. So I'm not gonna. It wasn't just benefits. It was she was a beautiful individual in the thing, but I didn't understand the dynamics. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it says that why men choose to ignore this red flag is intermittent reinforcement plus ego.
I just exactly what I just said.
Yep.
The intermittent, she would validate sometimes, make you feel like, oh, you King Kong around this bitch, you know?
Yep.
And then just go away. You don't hear from her.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And it's the ego because she's beautiful. It's your kind of woman. So you, like I said, your time, you don't want to let it go.
Yeah. So number two is one that I'm pretty sure at some point every man has heard. Either he's in the friend zone or he's been out on the date with. Number two is all my exes were crazy or narcissistic. It
I
it look
haven't had
it,
too many like that.
it looks like how it shows up is during conversations, the situations that present themselves during conversation is always somebody else's fault with little to no self-reflection.
Yes. Oh well, yeah. Well, since you stated it like that, yes, it's it tends to be like that sometimes. I'm a man of self fault. I let every woman that I deal with know straight up front. I am a hard person to deal with. I'm not really good with a lot of change. I never have been. So if I'm a very routine individual, very routine, and I'm a little ornery at times. I'm moody, and but the way I control my moods is some might in a relationship you with somebody. Some people might think, a woman might think that it's I just get quiet because I know my moods, and I play out my scenarios so I won't get angry. So I will have a argument with the person that I'm dealing with by myself.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying? So I won't have that argument with that person
Yeah, it's like you cursing that person out in your head.
in my head. But
Yeah.
sometimes I let it out. I'll be like, man, I told you, and sometimes I play the person, but you ain't hearing what I'm saying. I get tired of doing this all the doggone time. So I go and get it out. So and sometimes that reflects my mood. I am a moody individual, um, but outside of that mood, and I try not to get into that mood a lot because I know that I am, and that was my part of the failure in my marriage because I got moody and I just couldn't forgive, and me not, and it was something that happened. I'm not gonna put the thing out here in the open, but it was something that happened, and I knew that I couldn't forgive, but I was trying. Was it a full effort of trying? No, not really, because in actuality, I was hurt. But I didn't let that hurt spill out in a fashion to where you could see that I'm hurting. I sucked that hurt in and became very ornery, didn't speak, didn't touch, didn't do a lot of stuff. And because I was systematically thinking to myself, I want her to, I'm not going to do what she did, but I want to hurt her. I wasn't thinking at this time at the time frame, but you know what I'm saying, after counseling and talking to somebody, that's what I was doing. I was hurt and I didn't want to hurt like her to hurt like that, like she hurt me. So I did what I knew would hurt her, and that was distance myself emotionally. And I did. And it lasted, and it lasted, and it lasted until she was like, okay, we're gonna end this. And that was the biggest woosah because I was scared to end it because I was scared of the unknown because I spent at that time I spent over half my life with this one person. And so I was scared of the unknown, but when she said it's time to end, I didn't refute it. I was like, okay, cool.
So what you're saying is you were the crazy ex. So basically what you're saying is you when you're on a date with somebody and they be talking about they got a crazy ex or their ex was narcissistic, you can like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I can relate to that.
No, but here's the thing. I don't think I was narcissistic. I think because we would talk
Hmm.
and we would have a conversation about stuff. And you know what I'm saying? I would never, you know what I'm saying? I would never get out of line with her. I would never try to make her feel like she was stupid or anything. It was just, I was direct with my answers. So how do you feel? I don't like it. What is it? Wait, it does it. it wasn't a conversation. I was replying. So let me rephrase it. We wouldn't talk. I would reply,
Mm-hmm.
and I cared about her, but I was hurt. But I didn't, like I said, I didn't go into the crazy stuff. You did this to me, and blah 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 blah. No, I didn't do none of that. And I didn't try to make her feel like she was less than something. I went into shutdown mode.
So let me ask you this question. When you're, because one of the things that it says is that the reason why guys ignore these red flags or ignore this particular red flags is because they have, it's either they have a hero complex.
Mhm.
They think that you know, I could be the one to fix
Yep.
it, or that the chemistry that you have with somebody, which, chemistry is, most people don't realize it's a cocktail of chemicals that your body releases.
Yeah.
It's dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin that is released, during that. There's a spark there, or as the younger generation likes to say, there's a vibe. That's
Uh,
basically what's happening. Your body is releasing these different chemicals because there's an attraction or there's a feeling towards that person. And so that chemistry cocktail is released and it overrides your logic
yeah.
because men are typically logical thinkers. And so when that happens, you're chasing that chemistry cocktail and it overrides your logic and also go into fix it mode, right? Mr. Handyman, Mr. I can fix your relationship, or I can fix you by having a relationship with you, right? But it
To the young people out there, or people who not understand the jargon, what he talking about, Mister Fix It. In the hood, we call it Captain Save.
no, not necessarily. No, I ain't talking about necessarily in that particular scenario. It could be, you know, a woman presents herself to you and you can recognize that there's a lack of accountability for the failures of on her part in the relationship, but
Yeah.
she refuses to take accountability for what she's done, therefore she cannot fix it. And so you in yourself are like, I could be the one to fix it for you. um
Yeah.
and so instead of like holding her to the standard of saying, hey, these are, you know, was it that he was crazy, or is that just an excuse that you're using for you not to take accountability for what happened in your relationship? So I give you a perfect example. When I retired from the military, I was when I retired and I was waiting for a job or looking for a job, I was driving for Lyft. And I picked up a young lady, and when I picked her up and she got in the car, she was like on 10 in dealing with her man, right? She was telling me about how he wasn't shit and all of these things, and why would he do these things, and how, you know, he was once in jail and all this other stuff, right? And
Yeah.
I just let her talk, right? But I stopped her and I asked her, I said, it sounds like he has a lot of red flags. And I was like, is that a fair assessment? And she says, yes. And I said, would would you agree with the statement that some of those red flags that you now are talking about were there in the beginning of the relationship? And she said, yes. I said, so why would you choose to why would you have chosen to have a relationship with this person if you knew that those red flags existed in the beginning? And she said, because he was attractive or something along those lines. And I said, so I'm gonna give you some game. But it's not gonna be something that you want to hear. I said, the fact of the matter is that those red flags were there in the beginning, but you still chose to get into a relationship with this individual. I said, so he from the beginning was showing you who he was, and yet you still got into a relationship with him. I said, so you can't blame him for being who he was from the beginning. You can only blame yourself because You chose to ignore that and still get into a relationship with him. And she was like, well, he has so much potential. I said, I don't know what potential he could possibly have, but he was locked up. He had been in jail in his past. So, and now he's going back to jail. Why would you think something differently?